Okay, it has been about a week since the Ironman. I've just needed some time to reassess what really happened, how it went, have some perspective, you know? I also haven't moved my body this week, so I kind of figured it was a perfect time to exercise again and catch y'all up for what happened. So, Ironman. It was on a Sunday, woke up really early. I had 2 bagels and some coffee, some orange juice, and then a banana, which I normally can't eat because then I, forgive my language, do not shit for days. So that was kind of part of the goal. I wanted to not have to poop during the Ironman, so I tried eating a banana and it helped. So I'm gonna do quadruped rows and single leg RDLs to start. Okay, so we got there pretty early, around 6:30, and the night before, I had made a list of everything that I needed to bring, and then also what I was going to be doing for the transitions, because I was just nervous that I was going to like get to the transition and be so exhausted that I didn't remember everything that I needed to do with like putting on sunscreen, which I didn't do, putting on my sunglasses, like that kind of thing. So that was actually really helpful, making that kind of list for myself. And I set up, I got my wetsuit on, went in the water, and it was so nice. It was honestly just like a gorgeous morning. And I'm normally really a baby about cold water, but it wasn't cold. It actually felt really, really good. And so we started the race at about 8:15 in the morning. The swim went incredibly well. Like, I have not been swimming enough. I probably swam like once every other week for the past like 3 months. And definitely not long enough. Normally my swims would be anywhere between like 20 to 30 minutes. I had never actually swam the 1.2 miles, which I don't suggest, that was dumb. But honestly, I just haven't been like really inspired about training lately. Business has been really busy, and I haven't had like my training partner and we haven't been able to work out as much together, and I just miss that. So I just didn't do enough. But that all being said, the swim went very well. I did it in, I think, 44 minutes maybe. I gotta double check that. And I wasn't winded at all. Like, it definitely was not a fast swim comparatively to other people, but I think the real win of it was that I got out of the water and I felt amazing. Like, I didn't feel fatigued whatsoever, and I, again, never swam that far. So really happy about that. I was able to do kind of what I always did for training, which was 3 strokes, breathe, 5 strokes, breathe on the other side. Which I don't know if that's necessarily the most efficient thing, but my friend Mike told me to practice breathing on both sides, so I've just kind of stuck with that, and 3 and 5 worked really well for me. After the 5th breath, I would take my head out of the water to look to see if I was going in the right direction, and then I would do another 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, look, and I just keep on doing that over and over again. Honestly, the rhythm of it felt amazing, so very, very happy about that. But then came the bike. The bike went really well, all things considered. One second, I gotta look at my Strava quick because I'm pretty sure that I've only done like, I wonder if it tells me how many bikes I've done, because I've logged all of them on Strava, because if you don't do that, like, did you actually bike? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I biked a total of 7 times in preparation for this, which again, I do not suggest. Honestly, excuses. I don't like biking in New York City. It feels really dangerous to me. And the park is also really, really crowded, so that's really tough. I had done the 56 miles one time. That was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And that went decently well, although I didn't feel well at all for it, so that was tough. So all that to say, the bike was really hard. It took me a little under 3.5 hours, I think. And I got passed on the bike like crazy. That's a really not a fast bike for the rest of the field, but I kind of knew that that was going to be the really hard thing for me, so I just rode my own race. I got off the bike to pee one time, but other than that, just kept on going. And I thought it was gonna be like 4 hours for me, so I was actually happy with my time for that. But I just get so fed up with it not feeling aerobic at all to me. Like, not one time in the bike was I like, oh, I'm feeling so aerobically tired, or like my legs are so tired. The entire time, starting at mile 7, I just immediately was like, my ass hurts so bad, my neck hurts so bad, and my hands hurt so bad from shifting the weight from my hands to my butt, to my hands to my butt, because it's just a long ride. Get me off this bike, 2 more miles. It's going well, but oh my God. Ass, neck, hands. Luckily I don't need any of those for the run. Okay, see ya. I don't like that about biking. It feels like, what if I had knee problems every time that I ran? I probably wouldn't run anymore, right? Because like, I don't want running to always just be about like the aches and pains. I want it to be about like the cardio of it, the finesse of it. So I'm like a little torn because I know that I have so much room for improvement on the bike, but I also don't like it that much. I don't know if I care enough to train it or improve it. So I gotta kind of keep on soul searching about that, whether or not I want this to be a sport that I continue doing, or if I just like really hone in on what I actually do like. And that is the final section. So I finished the bike. I actually felt pretty good. My legs were fresh. I was just so happy to get off the bike and not have to like use my ass, my neck, or my hands anymore. I got off the bike. I transitioned pretty quickly. And I started on the run and I ran the entire time. I didn't stop at all, which I was really proud of. I passed over 100 people on the run and I wasn't passed by anyone because I was ready to go. I really enjoyed the running section of this because running is kind of my bread and butter. So I was going pretty fast. I felt really good until there are 2 hills on this course at mile 8 and mile 13. And at mile 8, it's a hard hill. Like it was a hard hill. And I felt good going up it. But then like a half mile after that, my left hamstring started cramping, kind of the insertion point into the back of my knee. So like right here, and I'm still pretty sore from that now, which is why I'm doing these unweighted for the single leg Romanian deadlifts. But the back of here started cramping and I just had to keep on breathing through it because I knew it wasn't like horrible, but it hurt pretty bad. But then I kept on running, it was fine. There was a second hill at mile 12 that is also, it's steeper than the first hill, but shorter. And after that one, I was not only aerobically tired for the first time, basically, but I also got a hamstring cramp on the other side. So like going into my knee from back here. And honestly, I think this is just from like striding out a little too much. Like I wasn't keeping my feet underneath my hips, so I was going a little too far. And that one was really hard to keep going, but I knew that I had finished all of the hard parts of the run. So I was like, I gotta just like keep on going. The rest actually was downhill, which hurt in its own way. And so I kept on going. And y'all, I got to the finish line and Jared's family was there. They had all worn mustaches because, you know, I made the mustache. I kept the mustache for the race and it was amazing. I just immediately started sobbing, which I don't know exactly like the endorphins and the emotions that came. I'm so emotional. It was really lovely. It was amazing. I was very happy to do it. And I finished in about 6 hours and 9 minutes. So in the grand scheme of things, not very fast for a half Ironman. People who do them regularly, there is so much room for improvement, totally. And I'm trying to reconcile like just being proud of myself for finishing because I really did not train enough for this whatsoever. And then wishing that I would have gone like a little bit faster and like been a little bit more competitive with the rest of the field. It's because I am a little competitive. So I'm very happy that I did it. You know, of course I have the bug to do a full, but like I said, I don't like biking and I can't imagine being on a bike for that long. I'm gonna see if I should get a different bike seat, but that's the other thing that I hate about biking is that it's so damn expensive that like, I really don't want to spend more money on it. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. For now, I'm very excited to get back to cross training, to get back to CrossFit because I just haven't lifted weights in a long time and I miss how that makes me feel. I miss it being like a community component of it, that I get to do it with other people. Whereas like distance training, like Jared didn't want to do the distance training with me because it is really long and we were at like different parts of our training. So like he would be struggling to keep up if I was doing like a 15-mile run today or a 40-mile bike today because he hadn't started when I started. So very excited to get back to it. I'll also say, and this is kind of like what I don't talk about very often, but it's a pretty big mind fuck for me, like body-wise, because when you lift weights, you get a pretty consistent pump of your muscles. And I wasn't doing that at all. I also was eating way more carbs than I normally would. I wasn't eating nearly as much protein because I just like needed the energy, which I think honestly was a really good choice because leading up to the race and during the race, I felt really good about my energy levels. I didn't feel like super low energy at any point. I fueled really well. Every 15 minutes I had a gel, but that does lead to some body composition stuff that like I'm not always thrilled about, which I guess I'm a little ashamed to say because I'm always like talking about body positivity and whatever, but it's not always easy and it's not always straightforward. And I think that the best way to move forward from it is to acknowledge it and try not to let it have too much power over you and make changes that you think are gonna help you get back to kind of that more holistic perspective. So I think for me, that's this combination of weight training and cardio. But yeah, I'm proud of my effort. I'm surprised my body doesn't feel worse. Just like a little bit of residual tugging in the back of my knees from my hamstring, but otherwise I feel good. I'm excited to start working out again, and we'll see kind of what's next. I'm planning on doing the marathon in New York City in November. I'm not overly enthused about getting back into distance training, but I really like the running of it. I felt so powerful and I felt really strong doing that. Especially now, I think my biggest takeaway from the Ironman was just fueling. When I did my first marathon, we didn't have nearly enough fuel. And when I've done training rides in the past, I didn't have nearly enough fuel. But when I was really specific about every 15 minutes taking a gel with water, is a game changer. So I'm excited to see what that kind of like unlocks in my performance, and I hope that it's good. I'm excited. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Well, I had probably like 50 people as spectators yell at me like, "Let's go, mustache." They love the stash, so it's sad that I had to shave it off, but some things must be done. Maybe for the Ironman, I'll bring it back if I ever do that. You know, maybe the takeaway is that like it's important for us to try hard things and to continue to challenge ourselves. It's incredibly gratifying, and it definitely spices up our fitness journey, because if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, I just don't know how to make it sustainable. So I'm so glad that I kind of had this offset of my fitness journey, and now I can get back on track with what I really enjoy doing. And maybe the Ironman will be another offset, and we'll be able to train for that next year. It seems crazy to do what I did twice, and that there's nothing in between. Like, what is that? Oh God. Thank you so much for watching my Ironman journey. We'll see what race is next. Maybe it'll be training for the marathon. I'm sure that's what it will be. But I really appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you back next time.